Imagine traveling back 4,000 years to the ancient city of Babylon, the wealthiest civilization of its time. Picture walking through its magnificent gates, past bustling markets where merchants from across the known world come to trade. Now, imagine learning the exact same wealth-building secrets that made Babylon the financial capital of the ancient world. Today, we're diving into The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, a book that has transformed millions of financial lives by teaching timeless principles through unforgettable stories. These aren't complex modern theories or sophisticated investment strategies. These are simple, powerful truths about money that have worked for nearly 4,000 years. What makes this book extraordinary is its simplicity. While today's financial world seems impossibly complex, the fundamental laws of wealth building haven't changed since ancient times. The same principles that made Arkad the richest man in Babylon can make you wealthy today. In the next 30 minutes, we'll journey through the streets of ancient Babylon and learn from its wisest citizens. You'll discover why some people accumulate vast wealth, while others, despite earning good incomes, struggle financially their entire lives. You'll learn the 7 cures for a lean purse, the 5 laws of gold, and how to make your money work as hard for you as you work for it. These aren't just stories. They're your blueprint for financial success. Every principle we'll explore has been tested by thousands of years and millions of lives. They worked in ancient Babylon. They work today, and they'll work for you. Let's step back in time and unlock the wealth secrets of the ancients. The man who desired gold. Our journey begins with Bonsir, a chariot builder, and Kobe, a musician, sitting beneath the walls of Babylon. Despite their skills and hard work, both men find themselves perpetually broke, watching the wealthy merchants pass by in their fine robes while they struggle to put food on their tables. Sound familiar? This scene could happen today in any city around the world. 2 friends, working hard, earning decent livings, but never getting ahead financially. They're trapped in what we now call the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, where all income gets consumed by expenses, leaving nothing for the future. But here's where their story becomes your opportunity. Instead of accepting their fate, Bonsir and Kobe decide to seek out their childhood friend, Arkad, who has become the richest man in all of Babylon. They want to learn his secrets. This decision, to seek knowledge from those who have achieved what you want, is the first crucial step toward wealth. Most people complain about their financial situation, but never seek out mentors or teachers who can show them a better way. When they find Arkad, he's not what they expect. He's not secretive or condescending. Instead, he's generous with his knowledge, explaining that wealth is not the result of luck or inheritance, but of following certain fundamental laws that anyone can learn and apply. Here's Arkad's first profound insight. I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. This simple statement contains the foundation of all wealth building. You must pay yourself first before paying anyone else. Most people earn money and immediately spend it on necessities, wants, and obligations. They tell themselves they'll save whatever is left over, but there's never anything left over. Arkad understood that you must reverse this process. Save first, then spend what remains. This isn't about earning more money. Arkad started as a simple scribe earning modest wages. The difference was his decision to keep 1/10 of everything he earned, no matter what. While his friends spent their entire incomes on immediate pleasures and needs, Arkad consistently set aside 10% for his future self. The psychological shift here is powerful. When you pay yourself first, you're declaring that your future financial freedom is more important than today's minor comforts. You're choosing long-term security over short-term gratification. Your action step, starting with your very next paycheck, set aside 10% before paying any bills or making any purchases. If 10% feels impossible, start with 5% or even 1%. The amount matters less than establishing the habit. This money is not for emergencies or special purchases. It's for wealth building, period. Remember Arkad's words. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you. Every copper it earns is its child that also can earn for you. This is the foundation upon which all wealth is built. The richest man in Babylon word spreads quickly through Babylon that Arkad will share his wealth-building secrets publicly. Men gather in the great hall, eager to learn how a simple scribe became the wealthiest man in the known world. Arkad begins with a question that silences the crowd. What dost thou think of first when thou dost think of wealth? Some shout, gold. Others call out lands or jewels. But Arkad shakes his head. Wealth is not gold or silver or jewels. Wealth is income. A man is wealthy when he has income that continues to come, whether he works or not. This distinction between wealth and income is revolutionary. Most people think wealth means having a lot of money. But having money sitting idle makes you poorer every day due to inflation. True wealth is about creating systems that generate ongoing income independent of your daily labor. Arkad then reveals what he calls the 7 cures for a lean purse, the fundamental laws that transform financial struggle into financial abundance. The first cure: start thy purse to fattening. For every 10 coins you earn, spend only 9. This immediately puts you ahead of 90% of the population who spend everything they earn. The magic isn't in earning more, it's in spending less than you earn, consistently, over time. The second cure: control thy expenditures. Expenses have a dangerous tendency to grow to match income. People earning $30,000 per year struggle financially. People earning $100,000 per year also struggle financially. Why? Because expenses expanded to consume the higher income. Wealthy people keep their expenses below their income regardless of how much they earn. The third cure: make thy gold multiply. The gold you save must work for you. Money sitting idle loses value to inflation, but money invested wisely grows exponentially through compound interest. Arkad invested his saved coins with merchants and moneylenders who paid him interest. Today, we have stocks, bonds, real estate, and businesses. The fourth cure: guard thy treasures from loss. Arkad warns against investments that promise unrealistic returns or require you to invest in areas where you lack knowledge. How many people have lost their savings to get rich quick schemes or investments they didn't understand? Wealth building is about consistent gains, not home runs. The fifth cure: make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Instead of paying rent forever, own your home. Every payment builds equity rather than disappearing into a landlord's pocket. Your housing payment should build your wealth, not someone else's. The sixth cure: ensure a future income. Plan for the time when you can no longer work. In ancient times, this meant saving for old age. Today, it includes retirement accounts, pensions, and creating passive income streams that continue regardless of your ability to work. The seventh cure: increase thy ability to earn. Continuously improve your skills and knowledge. The more valuable you become, the more income you can command. Invest in yourself through education, training, and skill development. These 7 cures work together synergistically. You can't just apply 1 or 2. You need all 7 working in harmony to create true wealth. Your action step: write down these 7 cures and honestly assess which ones you're currently following and which ones you're neglecting. Then commit to implementing 1 additional cure this month. Don't try to do everything at once. Build these habits gradually, but consistently. The 5 laws of gold. The story continues with Arkad preparing to pass his wisdom to future generations. He calls his son Nomasir and gives him a bag of gold along with a clay tablet containing the 5 laws of gold. These laws represent the deepest secrets of wealth, accumulation, and preservation. But there's a catch. Arkad sends his son away for 10 years to prove he can apply these principles independently. This isn't about inheritance. It's about earning wisdom through experience. When Nomasir returns, his story illustrates both the power of following these laws and the consequences of ignoring them. The first law of gold. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. This law confirms what Arkad taught earlier, but adds a crucial element: consistency. It's not enough to save occasionally when you feel like it. Wealth building requires systematic, disciplined saving of at least 10% of every dollar you earn. The gold, money, literally seeks out people who demonstrate this discipline. Nomasir discovered this law's power when he consistently saved part of his earnings, even when times were tough. The saved money created opportunities. He could invest when others couldn't, take advantage of bargains when others were desperate, and maintain his dignity when others begged. The second law of gold. Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Money must work as hard for you as you work for it. Every dollar you save should be put to work earning more dollars. This isn't about taking huge risks. It's about consistent, profitable employment of your capital. Nomasir learned this law by investing his saved gold with established merchants who paid him interest. Over time, the interest became substantial, and then the interest earned interest. This is compound growth in action. Your money making money, which makes more money. The third law of gold. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it, under the advice of men wise in its handling. This law emphasizes the importance of seeking advice from people who have successfully built and maintained wealth. Don't take investment advice from broke people. Don't take business advice from people who've never built businesses. Seek out mentors and advisors who have achieved what you want to achieve. Nomasir initially ignored this law and lost a significant portion of his inheritance by following the advice of a brickmaker who convinced him to invest in jewels. The brickmaker knew nothing about precious stones, and Nomasir lost his money. Later, he followed the advice of experienced merchants and prospered. The fourth law of gold. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in business or purposes with which he is not familiar, or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. This is perhaps the most violated law in modern times. People constantly invest in things they don't understand, complex financial instruments, businesses and industries they know nothing about, or get-rich-quick schemes that promise unrealistic returns. Stick to what you understand, or take the time to truly understand before you invest. Warren Buffett calls this the circle of competence. Know what you know what you don't know, and don't stray outside your circle without proper education and guidance. The fifth law of gold. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires and investment. If an investment opportunity sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Sustainable wealth building produces steady, reasonable returns over long periods. Get-rich-quick schemes appeal to our emotions but destroy our wealth. Nomasir learned this law painfully when he joined a group of men who claimed they could make his gold multiply rapidly through secret knowledge. They were charlatans, and he lost everything he entrusted to them. Your action step. Evaluate your current investments and financial decisions against these 5 laws. Are you saving consistently? Law 1. Is your money working hard for you? Law 2. Are you following advice from successful people? Law 3. Do you understand your investments? Law 4. Are you chasing realistic returns? Law 5. These laws have governed wealth building for thousands of years. They worked in ancient Babylon. They work today, and they'll work for your children and grandchildren. The gold lender of Babylon. Deep in the merchant quarter of Babylon lives Mathon, the gold lender, whose wisdom about lending and borrowing has made him wealthy while helping others achieve their dreams. His story teaches us crucial lessons about debt, credit, and the proper use of borrowed money. Mathon's first principle shocks many people. Better a little caution than a great regret. He doesn't lend money to everyone who asks. Instead, he carefully evaluates each person's character, ability to repay, and the purpose for which they need the money. This principle applies whether you're borrowing or lending money. Before taking on debt, honestly assess your ability to repay it. Before lending money to friends or family, consider whether they have the character and means to repay you. Mathon shares the story of 2 men who approached him for loans. The first was a young man who wanted to become a merchant, but lacked capital to purchase goods. He had energy, knowledge of trade, and a solid plan. Mathon lent him the gold because he saw the man's potential for success. The second was a man who wanted money to bet on chariot races, convinced he had a system for picking winners. Mathon refused this loan because gambling is not a foundation for repayment. It's a path to ruin. Here's the key insight. Debt can be a tool for building wealth or a trap that destroys it, depending on how you use it. Good debt helps you acquire assets that increase in value or generate income, like a home, education, or business equipment. Bad debt finances consumption and depreciates in value, like credit cards used for vacations, dining out, or luxury items you can't afford. Mathon also teaches the importance of having collateral, something of value that can be sold to repay the loan if necessary. This isn't just about protecting the lender. It protects the borrower from taking on more debt than they can handle. The gold lender's wisdom extends to modern credit cards, mortgages, and personal loans. Every time you borrow money, ask yourself Mathon's questions. Do I have the character to repay this debt even when it becomes inconvenient? Do I have the ability to repay it from my regular income? Will this debt help me build wealth or just increase my consumption? Another crucial lesson from Mathan is about co-signing loans or guaranteeing other people's debts. He warns that helping friends and family with debt often destroys relationships and creates financial hardship. If someone can't qualify for a loan on their own, there's usually a good reason that you should respect. The story also reveals how compound interest works against borrowers just as powerfully as it works for savers. A small debt that goes unpaid grows rapidly through interest and penalties. Mathan advises borrowers to repay debts as quickly as possible to minimize the total interest paid. Here's a practical application. If you have credit card debt, pay more than the minimum payment every month. The minimum payment is designed to keep you in debt for decades. By paying extra principal, you can save thousands of dollars in interest and become debt-free years sooner. Mathan's final wisdom is about building creditworthiness before you need it. Establish a reputation for paying your debts promptly and in full. This reputation becomes valuable when you need to borrow money for legitimate wealth-building purposes. Your action step: list all your current debts and categorize them as good debt or bad debt. Create a plan to eliminate bad debt as quickly as possible while using good debt strategically to build wealth. If you don't have debt, build your creditworthiness by managing a small amount of credit responsibly. Remember Mathan's wisdom: gold slippeth away from those who borrow for consumption, but clingeth to those who borrow for production. The walls of Babylon. The mighty walls of Babylon stand as a testament to the importance of protection in wealth building. These massive fortifications didn't just protect the city from enemies. They protected the wealth, commerce, and prosperity that made Babylon the greatest city of its time. Old Banzar, captain of the guards, shares this wisdom with his soldiers. We cannot afford to be without adequate protection. This applies not just to city walls, but to personal financial protection that safeguards your wealth from unexpected disasters. The walls of Babylon were built over many years, stone by stone, each generation adding to their strength. Your financial walls must be built the same way, gradually, consistently, with each paycheck adding another stone to your protection. The first wall in your financial fortress is your emergency fund. Just as Babylon kept emergency supplies within its walls, you need readily available cash to handle life's unexpected challenges. Medical emergencies, job loss, car repairs, or home maintenance can quickly destroy years of wealth building if you're not prepared. How much should you save? Start with $1,000 as your initial emergency fund, then build toward 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This money should be kept in easily accessible accounts, not invested in stocks or other volatile assets. The goal isn't maximum returns, it's maximum security and accessibility. The second wall is insurance protection. The Babylonians had guards patrolling their walls day and night. Your insurance policies are your financial guards, protecting your wealth from catastrophic losses. Health insurance protects you from medical bankruptcies that destroy millions of families annually. Disability insurance protects your most valuable asset, your ability to earn income. Life insurance protects your family's financial future if you die prematurely. Property insurance protects your home and possessions from fire, theft, and natural disasters. Many people skip insurance because they don't want to pay the premiums. This is like the Babylonians dismissing the guards because they cost money. The walls and guards seemed expensive until enemies appeared at the gates. The third wall is diversification. Babylon didn't rely on a single source of food, water, or income. They had multiple supply routes, various crops, and diverse trade relationships. If one source failed, others continued. Your wealth should be similarly diversified. Don't put all your money in one investment, one asset class, or even one country. Spread your risk across different types of investments, industries, and geographic regions. This protects your wealth from any single catastrophic event. The fourth wall is legal protection. Babylon had laws and courts to protect property rights and enforce contracts. You need proper legal documents to protect your wealth, wills, trusts, business structures, and appropriate contracts. Many people work their entire lives to build wealth, then lose it to lawsuits, taxes, or poor estate planning. Proper legal structures created with qualified attorneys protect your wealth from these threats. The story of Babylon's walls also teaches us about maintenance. Even the strongest walls crumble without regular maintenance and updates. Your financial walls need the same attention. Review your insurance coverage annually. Update your emergency fund as your expenses change. Rebalance your investments regularly, and update your legal documents as your life circumstances change. Your action step. Assess the strength of your financial walls. Do you have an adequate emergency fund? Are you properly insured? Is your wealth diversified? Do you have proper legal protections in place? Identify the weakest wall and begin strengthening it immediately. Remember, the goal isn't to live in fear, but to live with confidence. Strong financial walls allow you to take appropriate risks and pursue opportunities because you know you're protected from disaster. Just as the walls of Babylon allowed its citizens to prosper in peace, your financial walls will give you the security and confidence to build lasting wealth. The camel trader of Babylon. In the bustling marketplace of Babylon, we meet Dabasir, whose story represents one of the most powerful transformations in all of literature, the journey from financial slavery to financial freedom. His tale speaks directly to anyone drowning in debt, feeling hopeless about their financial situation, or believing they're too far gone to change. Dabasir wasn't always poor. He had been a successful merchant, living well and enjoying life's pleasures. But gradually, his expenses exceeded his income. He borrowed to maintain his lifestyle, then borrowed more to pay his debts. Like millions today, he fell into the debt trap that slowly consumed his wealth, his peace of mind, and eventually his freedom. His turning point came when he was literally enslaved due to his debts. But even in the depths of despair, he discovered the principles that would not only free him from slavery, but make him wealthy beyond his original dreams. Here's Dabasir's method for escaping debt, which he called the way to build a fortune from nothing. Step 1. Create a detailed list of all your debts and everyone you owe money to. Most people in debt avoid this step because it's painful to see the full scope of their problem. But you cannot solve a problem you refuse to acknowledge. Write down every debt, no matter how small or embarrassing. Step 2. Divide all your income into 3 parts. This is radically different from typical debt advice. Dabasir allocated his income as follows: 70% for necessary living expenses, 20% for debt repayment, and 10% for wealth building. That's right. Even while drowning in debt, he continued to pay himself first. This seems counterintuitive. Shouldn't someone in debt put everything possible toward debt repayment? Dabasir discovered that people who stopped saving while paying off debt often return to debt because they never developed wealth-building habits. The 10% savings creates both financial cushion and psychological momentum. Step 3. Live on 70% of your income no matter what. This requires serious lifestyle changes. Dabasir had to give up luxuries, find cheaper housing, and eliminate unnecessary expenses. But this forced frugality taught him the difference between needs and wants, a distinction that would serve him for life. Step 4. Use the 20% to pay all creditors proportionally. Instead of paying some creditors in full while ignoring others, Dabasir divided his debt payments proportionally among all creditors. This maintained relationships and prevented some creditors from taking legal action while others were ignored. Step 5. Communicate honestly with your creditors. Dabasir met with each person he owed money to, explained his situation honestly, and showed them his repayment plan. Most creditors preferred receiving partial payments consistently rather than nothing at all. Many were impressed by his honesty and systematic approach. Step 6. Increase your income while maintaining the same proportions. As Dabasir's camel trading business grew, he continued allocating 70-20-10. Higher income meant faster debt repayment and accelerated wealth building, but the habits remained constant. The psychological benefits of this system are as important as the mathematical ones. By continuing to save 10%, Dabasir maintained hope and forward momentum even in dark times. By living on 70%, he learned to distinguish between necessities and luxuries. By paying all creditors fairly, he maintained his integrity and relationships. Within 2 years, Dabasir had paid off all his debts. Within 5 years, he was wealthier than he had ever been before his financial collapse. The habits forced by his debt repayment system had made him permanently wealthy. This system works because it addresses both the practical and psychological aspects of debt. It provides a clear, actionable plan while building the habits that prevent future debt problems. Your action step: if you're in debt, implement Dabasir's system immediately. If you're debt-free, study his principles to prevent future debt problems. The 70-20-10 formula works whether the 20% goes to debt repayment or additional wealth building. Remember Dabasir's most important discovery: I found the road back to self-respect through this plan. Financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about dignity, self-respect, and peace of mind. The clay tablets from Babylon. Professor Franklin Caldwell's discovery of ancient clay tablets provides modern proof that these Babylonian principles work just as well today as they did 4,000 years ago. These tablets, found in the ruins of Babylon, contained the financial records of a man named Dabasir, the same camel trader we just learned about. What makes this discovery remarkable is not just the historical verification of the story, but the professor's decision to test these ancient principles on his own modern financial problems. Professor Caldwell was earning a good income, but like many professionals, was spending more than he earned. Credit card debt, car payments, and lifestyle inflation had left him financially stressed despite his university salary. Inspired by the clay tablets, he decided to implement Dabasir's ancient system: 70% for living expenses, 20% for debt reduction, and 10% for savings. His friends and colleagues thought he was crazy to save money while carrying debt, but the professor understood something they didn't. Wealth building is about habits, not just mathematics. The first month was difficult. Living on 70% of his income required serious lifestyle adjustments. He ate out less frequently, found cheaper entertainment, and postponed purchases he had previously made without thinking. But something unexpected happened. Instead of feeling deprived, he began feeling empowered. Each month, his debt balances decreased while his savings account grew. The psychological impact was profound. He was making progress on both fronts simultaneously. The 20% debt payments were particularly effective because they were distributed proportionally among all creditors. This prevented any single debt from spiraling out of control while maintaining progress on all fronts. The 10% savings proved crucial for several reasons. First, it provided an emergency fund that prevented new debt when unexpected expenses arose. Second, it created investment opportunities. He could take advantage of stock market downturns or other investment opportunities that required available cash. Most importantly, the 10% savings maintained his wealth-building mindset during the debt elimination process. Many people who stop saving while paying off debt find themselves returning to debt because they never truly changed their financial habits. Within 18 months, Professor Caldwell had eliminated all his consumer debt. His mortgage remained, but that was his only obligation. The habits developed during his debt elimination phase continued serving him well. His savings rate increased to 30% once the debt payments were eliminated. The same discipline that had eliminated his debt now accelerated his wealth building. Within 5 years, he had accumulated more wealth than many people build in decades. The professor's experience demonstrates that these ancient principles transcend time and culture. Whether you're dealing with ancient grain merchants or modern credit card companies, the fundamental laws of money remain unchanged. His story also shows that you don't need to earn more money to build wealth. You need to manage the money you earn more effectively. The professor's income hadn't increased dramatically, but his financial discipline had transformed completely. Your action step, like Professor Caldwell, commit to testing these principles for at least 1 year. Don't just read about them or think about implementing them someday. Start with your next paycheck, implementing the 70-20-10 system, adjusting the middle number based on whether you're paying off debt or building wealth. The clay tablets survived 4,000 years to deliver this message to you. The principles they contain have created more wealth than any other system in human history. The question isn't whether they work. The question is whether you'll apply them. The luckiest man in Babylon. The final story introduces us to Sharu-Nada, a successful merchant who attributes his wealth to luck. But as he tells his story to a young man seeking employment, we discover that what appears to be luck is actually the result of consistent application of wealth-building principles. Sharu-Nada's story begins with failure. As a young man, he desperately needed work to support his family. He approached Arad Gula, a master craftsman, seeking employment. Arad Gula offered him a job, but the pay was low and the work was hard. Here's where most people make their crucial mistake. The young Sharu-Nada complained about the low pay and demanded higher wages before proving his worth. Aradgula refused and sent him away. Months later, desperate and humbled by his continued unemployment, Sharunada returned to Aradgula. This time, he took a different approach. Instead of demanding higher pay, he focused on providing excellent value and learning valuable skills. This shift in mindset, from what you can get to what you can give, transformed everything. Aradgula noticed Sharunada's diligent work, positive attitude, and constant improvement. Over time, his wages increased, his responsibilities grew, and eventually he became a partner in the business. The luck that Sharunada experienced was actually the result of several key principles. The principle of value creation. Instead of focusing on what he could get, he focused on what he could give. He worked harder than expected, learned faster than required, and contributed more than demanded. This approach made him indispensable and valuable. The principle of skill development. Sharunada constantly improved his abilities. He studied his craft, learned from masters, and developed expertise that commanded higher compensation. Your earning ability is your greatest wealth-building tool. The principle of relationship building. He built genuine relationships based on mutual benefit rather than personal gain. Aradgula became not just his employer, but his mentor and eventually his partner. Wealth building is ultimately about people. The principle of patience and persistence. Sharunada didn't expect immediate results. He understood that building wealth, like building skills, takes time. He was willing to start small and grow gradually rather than demanding immediate gratification. The principle of character. His reputation for honesty, reliability, and excellence opened doors that remained closed to others. Character is the foundation of all sustainable wealth building. The story also reveals the importance of taking initiative. When Sharunada saw opportunities to improve the business, he acted on them. When he identified problems, he solved them. When he saw needs, he filled them. This proactive approach led to increased responsibilities and compensation. Another crucial element is the willingness to start where you are with what you have. Sharunada didn't wait for perfect conditions or ideal opportunities. He started with the job he could get and worked to make it the job he wanted. The luck that successful people experience is often the result of preparation meeting opportunity. Sharunada prepared himself through hard work, skill development, and character building. When opportunities arose, he was ready to seize them. This principle applies to all aspects of wealth building. Lucky investors often spend years studying markets, analyzing opportunities, and building capital before making their lucky investments. Lucky entrepreneurs typically fail multiple times while learning crucial lessons before their lucky breakthrough. Your action step. Stop waiting for luck and start creating it. Focus on providing exceptional value in your current role. Continuously develop your skills and knowledge. Build genuine relationships. Act with integrity and character. Take initiative when you see opportunities. Remember Sharunada's insight. I attracted to myself the things I desired by working toward them with all my might. This is the real secret of the luckiest man in Babylon. We've just traveled through ancient Babylon and discovered wealth-building secrets that have remained unchanged for nearly 4,000 years. These aren't complex theories or sophisticated strategies. They're simple, powerful principles that anyone can apply starting today. let's recap the timeless laws that can transform your financial life. Pay yourself first. Save at least 10% of everything you earn before paying anyone else. This single habit separates wealth builders from everyone else. Make your money work for you. Every dollar you save should be invested wisely to generate more dollars. Money sitting idle loses value to inflation. Control your expenses. Living below your means isn't about deprivation. It's about freedom. The wealthy keep their expenses below their income regardless of how much they earn. Protect your wealth. Build strong financial walls through emergency funds, insurance, diversification, and legal protection. These walls allow you to take appropriate risks while protecting your downside. Invest in yourself. Continuously improve your skills, knowledge, and value to others. Your earning ability is your greatest asset. Use debt wisely. Borrow only for assets that increase in value or generate income. Avoid debt for consumption and lifestyle inflation. Be patient and persistent. Wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistent application of these principles over time creates extraordinary results. The power of these principles isn't in their complexity. It's in their simplicity and timeless effectiveness. They worked for the merchants of ancient Babylon. They worked for Professor Caldwell in modern times. And they'll work for you. But knowledge without action is worthless. The difference between those who build wealth and those who struggle financially isn't intelligence, luck, or even income. It's the decision to apply these principles consistently over time. Your wealth-building journey doesn't start tomorrow, next month, or next year. It starts with your very next financial decision. Will you pay yourself first? Will you live below your means? Will you make your money work for you? The ancient city of Babylon is long gone, but its wealth-building wisdom is eternal. These principles have survived conquests, empires, and economic systems because they represent fundamental truths about money that never change. You now possess the same knowledge that made Akkad the richest man in Babylon. The question isn't whether these principles work. The question is whether you'll work them. Your financial freedom isn't a distant dream. It's a series of daily decisions guided by timeless principles. Start today. Start small if necessary, but start. The richest person in your city could be you. The journey begins now.